Okay, so here, how many of you guys has dream of getting perfect grade? Can you raise them? I guess here, some of you guys even might be striving for like the top one in every classes, right? But in reality, the sad truth is that most of the students, especially young students, don't really know how to study effectively and efficiently. What I mean is that sometimes they study too much, but they eventually end up getting the average grade or not getting the grade that they had expected. That's not something being so wrong with students, not because we are very lazy or incapable. The thing is, it is just about how our school has been structured. In many cases, they will mainly focus on what to study, but not how to study and not how to engage in our deep work. For me, when I was in my primary school, I was just an ordinary student, not a bright one or the outstanding one. Even though I tried really hard, harder than anyone else, I always fall behind the top students. That made me thought, maybe just because I'm not smart enough, I will never ever be able to achieve the thing like the top student did at the East. But those thoughts were only until when I realized how to study really well, I meant effectively and efficiently. That was an easy journey, but alongside my journey to be a good student, I meant a top student in my class, I have learned a lot and realized we can make study really fun and simple at the same time. So I'm very sure that here, all of you guys really want the good grade. So to get a good grade, what we should firstly do is to change our mindset upon studying. Many students, especially the young ones, are influenced significantly by the fact that we need to study longer and harder to get better grades. But that's not the truth. And then another thing is that sometimes they even flex the numbers of hours that they study. That's not a thing to flex. And then also, personally and scientifically, the amount of the time that you study isn't always the matter. That is just the century-long misunderstanding. What you all need to realize that the numbers of the hours that you study isn't equal to the knowledge that you can gain or the amount of the work that you can finish. The hard work is only the beginning. Even if you sleep only 4 hours a day and study another 20 hours, you can never ever be the hardest and the most productive students in your class. Why? The reason is really simple. Here, we all have only 24 hours a day, which is very limited and that you can never expand. But what you will do, you will always try to spend the amount of the time that you study. Why you can just simply increase your intensities of focus on your studies. Even though you study harder and harder, you will never get the perfect score because your intensities of focus isn't good enough. Sorry. So after all, there is a study technique. So many of you guys are very common to ask about the study technique, like give me your study technique, and that's very common. There is a technique that I usually give to many other people. That's called the Parkinson law. The Parkinson law isn't that famous, but incredibly useful. The Parkinson law is all about using the changes in relation between your time and the effort that you can allocate. Let me give you the example. Here, all of us attend teachers do online classes, right? English classes, I meant. In every classes, there might be your favorite main teacher who's gonna give us the writing assignment very weekly. So what you're gonna do is that you're just gonna spend very long time to finish those tasks. I meant like you will spend 2 or 3 hours to finish that simple task that you can finish within 30 minutes. It is a human nature that when we have more time, we tend to put in less effort. But when we have less time, we tend to put in more effort. So, what you should do next time when you get an assignment is that you should try to set a deadline for yourself, a fake deadline, which might be a little bit earlier than the actual one. But also, never set the deadline which are literally unrealistic. But set the deadline that can give you a little bit of challenge and push yourself. Another important thing when it comes to studying is the technique that we use. The typical student, what they do is rereading and rewriting every single thing from our textbook. That isn't the most useful way. But many of the students, for many of our students, that has become like a social norm. Instead, what you should do is to try active recall. So, what is active recall? Active recall is all about retrieving information from your memory. It's just about turning your short-term memory into your long-term memory. That might be simple, but at the same time, many of the students really try to avoid it because that's really difficult just to sit down and try to retrieve every single thing from your textbook. Even if that will be incredibly mentally taxing, still, it is time efficient. So, due to the time efficient, if you're willing to essentially put up with that pain, not only you're not gonna get a good grade because you can study really well, but also you not forget about the thing that you have learned and that you have read. That's like you're having kind of pseudo-photographic memory, which is really cool and the thing that we always wish to have. After all, I'm really pretty sure that if we can use such study technique pretty well in our studying, not just we can conquer our classes, we can always ace our upcoming exams and tests. Thank you. I'm Zwe Thiha Aung from Teacher Su FCE class.